Howdy folks, Brian Kusko here at Triple B. For today we have for you what has been the most anticipated Triple B TV interview yet. What I mean is that I've had more private messages and messages sent to me wondering when this interview was coming out. Not wondering, and even wondering if I was going to put it out or not. So it's interesting to me. My job here is not to draw conclusions. I'm here to share stories of people who are in the hobby, whether you like it or not. That's not up to me. I'm just here to share the stories of people that are in the hobby. I like to think of this channel as a way for the hobby to look at itself and everybody involved with it. Like it or not. You're watching Triple B TV. I would like people that know who you are, know your history. It's been, everybody's shared it publicly, the links to see what you were, everything that
So I would like to touch on that if we get the opportunity, because the stuff that people share are not convictions, okay? That is press hyperbole. And I would like you to say, what were you actually convicted of? If you don't mind doing that, so that I can tell the truth.
We'll just talk. We'll just talk.
Okay.
But the one thing that I would like to ask, because you're probably one of the most controversial people
in the entire reptile industry. No question about it, bro.
So you get more people attacking you than I've seen on anybody else.
Absolutely.
Whether or not you deserve it is not my choice to decide.
But they have the weapons to do it with because of my history.
Right. So
Brian,
what I want to know is how you deal with that on a daily basis, and not like I've never seen you like fire back and go off on anybody. Or how do you deal with that?
So let me use yesterday as an example, okay? Do we know what happened yesterday?
I know the animal control was called.
Right. So I'm here at the show. I've got my dogs in kennels behind the show setup, which I do at every show that I go to every single weekend. I knew that there were people here that were hating, and people threatened publicly to picket or do whatever, pass out pamphlets. And all day long, I had customers that were coming and talking to me about animals that left and didn't buy from me and would come back and say, man, that person over there told me not to buy from you because of all of this. And I'm back because I don't believe it, because I spent time with you and I know that that's not the kind of person that you are. So throughout, this happens every time. This is not, I don't have animal control come to my booth every show, because I've earned my respect with the people at the shows on the East Coast. The people that hate me understand that it's not going to do them any good, so they don't just aggressively push it. This is a new venue. This is the West Coast. The people who called animal control on me are not people that are involved in the reptile industry. These are people that are looking for their 5 minutes of fame, and that's how they get attention in their life. Animal control came. They saw that the animals were perfectly fine. They asked me questions about the dogs. I had to take the dogs home and not bring them today because the facility doesn't allow pets. We're at a reptile show. Everybody's got pets. The guy pulled me outside. He was like, listen, we were told all this crazy stuff about you. You seem like a really good dude, but because these people complain, I have to enforce the rules that I wouldn't normally enforce. So don't bring your dogs back. So I left my dogs at one of those cool little pet hotels for the day and give them a chance to hang out with some other people. And I would rather them be here with me. The dogs are perfectly healthy. The whole thing was just a way to try and hurt me. But you want to know what actually happened in the process? As soon as they left, I hit $1,500 in sales in back-to-back people who came up in support. And this is the thing that people don't understand. All of these people with the negativity and the drama, when they attack me online, I get 100 friend requests. I have people who reach out to me.
There's no such thing as bad publicity theory.
Well, that is a part of it. People came to my booth this weekend just to see what all the hype was about. And I pull them in because I'm real, because I'm honest, because I'm professional, because I've got amazing animals, and I understand how to sell those animals to people when they come by. But what it is more so than the Kardashian effect I guess is kind of what I like to call it. The people who build their entire fame and everything around negativity and drama. For me, what happens all the time is people that I don't know, who are not involved on any level, but are intelligent people and see what happens, and they reach out to me and they say, anybody who takes an objective look at the stuff that these people are saying can see instantly that it has to be bullshit, man. It has to be, right? I mean, so when I got here this weekend, I saw Garrett, and I like Garrett a lot. When I got here, Garrett was like, hey man, you should probably post something about how you've watered and cleaned your animals a couple of times during the trip. And I just kind of, it didn't even really sink in until I got back to my booth. I was like, hey, I brought $1 million worth of animals. Am I really not gonna water those animals on the way here? And that's my point. It's common sense. If you can remove yourself from the drama and the hype and the anger of the possible dog fighting, this guy's a terrible dog abuser, he mistreats his animals, he sticks them all in little tiny enclosures, doesn't clean them. If you can get past the hype and look at it from an objective standpoint, the stuff that these people are saying is completely ludicrous on most levels. How does one get to be one of the most productive reticulated python breeders in the world by mistreating his animals? How does that happen? It doesn't work that way. Sick, unhealthy, unhappy animals don't propagate in captivity, not reptiles anyway, maybe dogs. Puppy mills can lock them in cages, dogs are much more prolific. But you breed reptiles, all of these other people breed reptiles. Nobody is successfully breeding reptiles in substandard conditions. It just doesn't work that way, not on the level of productivity that I've reached.
So do you think that because of your history, you've earned any of the criticism? Like, do you think that?
So I'm very good at painting a picture of myself in my mind as being a really good person with good moral standards, okay? I don't believe that there's anything wrong with the marijuana plant. I just don't. I'm sorry. Now, if you sell drugs and are involved in illegal activities and you beat people up that don't pay you and it reaches around into those types of areas, then you're a drug dealer. For me, it was a plant that I grew. I never beat anybody up. If somebody didn't pay me, I blew them off and didn't give them any more pot. So, you know what? I'm not perfect, but I'm not a terrible person because of that right there. With the dog thing, you have to understand my personality, okay? I don't do anything half-ass. If I get involved in something, I follow it as far as a man can possibly take it. Look at where I'm at with the retics. It's just ridiculous. I could have gotten 20 females and a couple of nice males and supplemented my income and enjoyed the animals and had a much easier life. But I'm an empire builder. I have to do it all the way. I have to take it as far as I can possibly take it. That's just my personality. I fell in love with pit bulls, man, when I was 15 or 16 years old. I loved the breed. I saw everything that you can see out of those animals, and I fell in love with them, and I wasted 15 years of my life on something that, in hindsight, I look back and can't believe that I did, because there was nowhere to go with it. It was just pure passion that took me into it, and I became one of the biggest pit bull breeders that I know of. I had 100 or 150 adult dogs. I bred those dogs. I showed those dogs. I did not fight those dogs. I loved those animals. Those animals.
So you never see, from what I understand, is that there was a dog fighting involved.
Well, so here's the thing, okay? In the state of North Carolina in the early 90s, the dog fighting was switched from a misdemeanor to a felony. So there was this big, huge hype around it, okay? So having a large number of pit bulls automatically makes you a dog fighter. The animal control people, the ASPCA, the people who were the ones who told the police who was a dog fighter and who was not a dog fighter, took all of the things that every pit bull breeder did, blue barrels as dog houses, chains with axles in the ground, all of these things that were standard procedure were labeled as dog fighting things. So yes, I had 150 pit bulls. I was not fighting them. I have never been convicted of an actual dogfighting crime. When I was arrested, there was suspicion of dogfighting. They charged me with dogfighting, and the governor was reelected. The sheriff was reelected behind some of these arrests. So the helicopters flew over my place. They videotaped them taking all of these dogs. If you come to my snake facility right now, when you walk in and see hundreds and hundreds of reticulated pythons, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be a shocking thing. So on television, 150 dogs looks like that has to be what this guy is doing. But the dogs weren't beat up. The dogs weren't, there was no pit, there was no fighting, there was none of that. I've never been involved in any type of dog fighting on any level whatsoever. So having the animals put me into a position where I was in love with a hated breed, and I had a lot of them, and that carried over into these charges. I was charged with 100 counts. Each animal, they charged me with a count of dogfighting. When we went to court, the DA and the judge and my lawyers in private session in the judge's office came up with a plea agreement. I would not agree to sign for dogfighting because I was not dogfighting. And this is the catcher. At the time, dogfighting was a simple misdemeanor, okay? I pled out to 2 counts of animal cruelty and to a count of animal abandonment because when they took my dogs, I came back and let my chickens loose because I didn't have any way to take care of them. So they charged me with animal abandonment. I accepted a plea agreement for a worse misdemeanor than dogfighting because I wasn't willing to have dogfighting on my record. I just wasn't willing to do it, all right? So the deal was that I was supposed to get my dogs back. That's why I agreed to it, because they're gonna kill them. They kill all of them. The whole Michael Vick thing later on, they didn't kill his because people were interested in trying to help them. But back when I was doing this, they absolutely killed every single pit bull that was in any type of questionable environment or labeled as a fighting dog. They just put them to sleep, euthanized. So the deal was, I get my dogs back. I agreed to doing weekends in jail for the misdemeanor convictions that I accepted. And while I was in my first weekend, the ASPCA killed all of my dogs. They euthanized every single one of them. I got out on Monday morning, I found out that they had killed all of my animals. The judge was livid. He told me that I should sue them, and I just turned around and walked away because it was a point in my life where I had lost everything. All of the dogs were dead. I had nothing to gain. I had no reason to start over because there wasn't anything. And honestly, I had gotten to a point where everything surrounding those dogs was negative. All of the people that were getting involved in it were getting in it for the wrong reasons. People get into retics for the wrong reasons these days too. I see it all the time, you know, so I didn't have any reason to get back into it. And I was afraid to own a pit bull because this had happened and they had taken these dogs and killed them. So I just didn't for many, many years, man. The dog that I've got now is one that I got because somebody couldn't take care of it. And I had gone through the process and I missed having the animals in my life. It is what it is, man. You know, I fell in love with a hated breed. My problem is you might have a pit bull for a pet. I can't have just one. I end up getting 20 or 30 or 150 because I fall into the trap of that obsessive behavior. And I understand that. So it is what it is.
All right, man. Well, I think you put it all out there.
You should ask me one more question.
Which question?
The next thing that they're going to hit me with, overproduction of reticulated pythons. Can we touch on that real quick before we end? So Tim O'Reilly, I think you did the interview with him and asked him about overproduction. And I loved it because it's a ridiculous concept, okay? Last year, I don't know exactly how many I produced, somewhere around 1,500 reticulated pythons. This season, I've had to buy 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 clutches from other people on top of what I produced to supply the demand, okay? I'm going to continue to increase my production until I hit a wall. If I produce 2,000 retics next year and I sell them all, I'm going to produce a few more the next year. It's simple marketing, it's smart business. If I don't feel like I'm doing anything to hurt the market, which I don't believe. I did a large number of sales this weekend. This is the best show I've ever had, no question. 90% of the people that I sold to were not retic people. They came up to me asking me about a white lip. They came up to me asking me about a ball python or a boa constrictor. If they are somebody that I think has the intelligence level to be able to handle one of these animals and will follow my tutelage or my mentorship, I will sell them a reticulated python, because we have to bring new people in. These kids walking around that are with their parents that are just looking at snakes, we gotta let them hold a ball python every once in a while, man. That's how you and I both got into it. That's how we all fall in love with it. If all we do is sit around and sell each other snakes, sooner or later we're gonna run out of customers. And people love to blame me for why they're not selling their snakes. But you wanna know why they're not selling their snakes? Because they're all on Facebook. They're all trying to sell the same lavender super tiger to the same 3 people that are looking for a lavender super tiger. Get off your butt. Go out, find a show, find new people, teach them well, sell them quality animals, and then follow through with your customer service, and we will build a new base instead of just tearing down what we have.
Growing the hobby and the people in it is definitely a huge part of it.
It has to grow, man. It has to. And the government wants to stop us. Everybody wants to end this. And if I ended on anything, it was this, okay? You don't have to like me. They don't have to like me, okay? I'm not expecting acceptance from every person out there. But if you're gonna trash Samson Pruitt or Brian Barczyk or anyone, make sure that you do it in a way that doesn't affect the community as a whole. Because that stuff that happened yesterday with those dogs, it doesn't make me look bad. I sold another $1,500 worth of snakes after they left. If anything, it helps me. I don't want to be the drama guy, but it made the entire industry, all of us, look like fools. We can grab positive energy and we can promote positivity amongst ourselves while we deal with our disputes in private. If I have a problem with you, if you say something that I don't like, I'm not going to go run you down to someone else. I'm not going to go on social media and blast you publicly. I'm going to send you a private message. I'm going to say, Brian, this is something that happened that bothered me, man. Do you want to try and work it out? Are we going to try and be friends, or should we just decide to be enemies and be done with it and leave each other alone? But airing out all of this public drama and negativity does nothing but destroy the exact same thing that we're all trying to build, man. And that doesn't make sense to me. I understand that hate and jealousy is a really, really strong emotion. I have it. I struggle with fighting it back. But you've never seen me publicly trash anybody, because it doesn't do anyone any good. It makes me look bad, it makes you look bad, it makes the industry look bad. We don't have to be that. We can be professionals, we can be really good, we can promote everything and figure it out. At the very least, not fight, argue, and air our dirty laundry publicly. Period. It's just that simple.
If you want to do your own research, if you didn't like this interview, if you thought I could do a better job, or if you thought you could do a better job, Samson will actually be at the Reptile Super Show coming up here in Anaheim in January. So if you want to do your own interview, that'd be your opportunity. Next week, we've got a great talk from Mr. Justin Julander talking about dwarf pythons and the genus of Antaresia. And that'll be one of the Herpeton talks. Until then, you've been watching Triple B TV. Y'all take care.
The main thing I guess that I want to talk about is, well, it's simple. I mean, like, there is a part of me that's nervous just to do the associate, because you catch so much stuff. Like
it's rough, man.
Like just to sit and talk with you, like I'm like, oh, people are gonna hate on me now too, like, because I'm sitting here talking to you. Like,
you're gonna get that, and you're gonna. So if you paint me in a good light in people's eyes, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna choose sides, but some people are gonna say that.
I'm not here to paint anything.
Right.
I'm just here to things as they are.
Are we gonna have a conversation between us, or do we look at the camera and talk? Okay.
The thing that.
Oh, just a little side note. I guess I'll throw this in the bloopers. If you did see one of the cards up there, there is a link where I do actually share my opinion on this whole thing with Samson. If you care to see that, it was a live stream, completely uncut, and you can go check it out. It's on my vlog channel.